Like everything else in Liberia today, the National Police Force is trying to rebuild. These are the latest recruits, the new face of a nation resolved to enforce security. And the very newest faces are these, female recruits, now some 13% of the entire force. The goal is 20%. They are lured and encouraged by the top cop, Beatrice Munasia Brown. As the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, she is leading the fight against the country's worst crime problem, rape and sexual violence against women. During 3 waves of civil wars that killed nearly 250,000 people and wasted Liberia's homeland, wars fought, it is said, on the bodies of women, rape was used with appalling repetition as a weapon. Where the fighting was fiercest, more than half the women experienced sexual violence. The war ended in 2003, but even now, in peace, they say rape is the highest reported crime in the capital city, Monrovia. More than half the cases involve girls, 10 to 14.
I think it's an issue of violence. It's an issue of power. Sometimes I would say it's a sickness, perhaps.
Deputy Justice Minister Eva Mappy Morgan says the key is emphasizing the strength of women.
The fact that we're in post-war doesn't mean that those issues that men have been dealt with. We have to examine ourselves, see what it is we want to do so that we are not continuously blaming these people, these men, for victimizing us.
You're saying that women should not see themselves as victims?
Certainly not. If we can harness our voices, if we can focus ourselves, if we can become visible, then we sit in the driver's seat. We have to see ourselves now as being our own advocates. Let's do it. Women, let's get up and do what we have to do.
Good afternoon.
In that spirit, the IG is taking the message of women's power to local communities.
So as soon as it happens, you have to come and report it. Do not accept it.
And counting on her female officers to help change the face of law enforcement in a country where women have long been treated like property.
In our country, been a time where if the female came up and said, I'm being abused by my husband, the male officers downplay it. They look at it like, well, you know, it's your husband, so what? You don't get that attention you need until maybe somebody's hurt or dead. But now the female officers are listening to them.
So women on the police force can help reduce violent crime against women?
Yes, people seem to have more confidence in women.
Her deputy police commissioner is a woman. And the parade of female strength extends to the military and the United Nations peacekeepers, where an all-woman contingent from India underscores the government's commitment to law enforcement and its zero-tolerance approach to sexual violence. Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was swept into office, promising swift punishment for crimes against women. She recently created a special court only for cases of sexual violence to protect women's identity and guarantee them a safe place for justice. And that's just the latest step. 4 years ago, a new law was passed broadening the definition of rape and making it punishable for up to a life sentence. And the president has made it such a priority. The anti-rape message is now being marketed as aggressively as soda pop and cell phones. It's all part of a very public campaign to encourage open talk about sexual violence. Some men are already getting the message. For those who are not, there are constant reminders.
Gentlemen, behave yourselves, correct yourselves, think about it. We are your daughters, we are your mothers, we are your wives, and we are your sisters. So when you violate any one of us, you violate your mother, you violate your wife, you violate your sister, you violate your daughter. So get on the bandwagon with us.
That's just what these women in Chocolate City, an area outside Monrovia, are hoping the men will learn from this event sponsored by the International Rescue Committee. The women can learn from it too.
What happened? No, I'm telling you.
That's a woman playing an abusive mate, driving home the message that sexual violence is unacceptable. That is news to many of these women, and they've taken up the cause with energy and humor.
Matete for me. Matuma for me.
My breasts are mine, she sings. Don't touch. My butt is mine. Don't touch.
I'm proud. I have my dignity. I know the importance of myself now.
I'm looking at your headgear. It says, report all rape cases to the police. Now, during the war, you couldn't do that, of course.
No.
What would happen?
But remember, they might kill you in the process. If they notice that you're going to lay the complaint, they will kill you.
Yeah. Who would kill you?
The men, the rebels. They will kill you.
That's precisely what Inspector Brown and her new beefed-up police force are changing. The IG is determined to get more women in uniform. Because women, she says, are perfectly suited for the job.
Men have forgotten that the first security anybody getting life is your mother. As soon as you give birth to that child, they place that child into your hands in a hospital. So we were the first security, and we can still be on par with you guys to protect the whole world.
I'm Lynn Sherr for Worldfocus in Monrovia, Liberia.